This is my attempt at decoding Ascension. We're going to ask some questions like, what is Ascension? How do I know what's truth and what's not? And how do I get there from here? This is my personal journey. Welcome. To ascend basically means to raise your frequency to match the frequency of the fifth dimension. Ascension is the event that very well could be the rapture. Fear is the tool that controls us through outside circumstances and forces that we basically create for ourselves. The government uses fear to control us. They lie to us. Our parents use fear from the time we're born to control us. As soon as we get old enough to say, don't do that, stop. Society uses fear to control us. Separation and fear is how they control us. And I want to talk some about how it starts at a very young age with your parents, how it actually starts the minute they wipe your memory from your last life. And there's healthy fear of God, and then there's unhealthy fear. So first, I want to talk about unhealthy fear. From the time you're conceived, you're surrounded by fear. Your mother is pregnant with you, and she has all these doubts and fears in the back of her mind. What if I can't carry this pregnancy to term? What if something's wrong with my baby? I mean, nowadays they got ways to do amniocentesis and all, but way back they didn't. Now, you got to realize your mother's already been controlled by fear her whole life, okay, and your father. So they want everything to be right for their child, and there's nothing wrong with that, but excessive worry breaks you down as a soul, as a functioning human. It enslaves you. So here you are, you're in the womb, your parent, may be a little overworried. It's not everybody, but most people. You're born, and then they got to do everything right. You have to be fed, changed, took care of, protected. There's always this worry in the back of your father or your mother's mind because you're their child. And that seems, pretty normal, but outside influences increase that natural little bit of healthy fear. And you have all this advertising telling you, this formula is better than this formula. Do this with your baby. Don't do that with your baby. Am I doing the right thing? Oh my God, my baby's got a fever. What if they die? What if I don't get them to the hospital on time? I mean, it's just never ending. So then you're born, now you're born and you're getting older. You're a couple years old. You're a toddler. Fear's a good thing. Don't stick your finger in the light socket. Don't stick metal objects in the light socket. Those are healthy fears. But then, just like they've been lied to control them through fear and misdirection. Now all of a sudden, it's your turn. You got Santa Claus. Be a good girl, be a good little boy, or Santa will not bring you a toy. Then you got this kid wondering all year long, have I been good Santa, writing letters to a being you know, Kris Kringle existed. Santa was pretty pervy and evil. You know, I loved Santa, though. I can't, you know, I fell right into that lie. But you got Santa, you got the Easter Bunny, you've got just all these things that you're conditioned to believe, and then all of a sudden they're not real anymore. You know, they're not real anymore. And Christmas really doesn't have that much to do with Jesus. But you go back to your Bible. You know, I'm a jealous God. Don't go after other gods or you'll be punished. Israel disobeyed. What did God do? Give their enemies the victory. You know, God was, they're always punishing them. And, you know, then you got hell is introduced as a concept. And you become, you know, afraid of hell from God, like I did, just like you become afraid of not getting that toy from Santa, or not being a good girl and getting a birthday party, or whatever it may be. I'm not saying that, you know, I hate my parents because they lied to me.
It's fear. Everything's fear.
I'm saying they were conditioned like that.
Everything is fear-based.
And it's just what they're taught. It's called the third dimensional world. It's called duality.
From what that Bible said, because I was scared of going to hell, you know, for questioning God.
So, I was listening to Billy Carson. This is what made me, you know, really realize the extent of it.
And even if hell is real, I probably will deserve it.
And, he said, you know, to go through the Old Testament. You know, now we're just looking at the Old Testament God.
Jesus.
To go through the Old Testament, take a highlighter.
I was never going to take Jesus
and mark every time that God sent them to kill,
had to let go of some things,
rape, or pillage, or plunder.
I had to open up to some things I believed about him.
Every time God allowed their enemies to, every time God punished Israel and allowed their enemies to have victory,
and get sent to hell,
you know, highlight all that.
Made a big difference.
And when you get through, you're gonna have this whole Old Testament.
Made it easier for me to
that's highlighted
inside and look.
It's highlighted
at the things.
Since the Garden of Eden, don't eat the fruit from the tree, or you will be like us, like gods. That's really not that bad a thing. I don't.
Giving up at birth
I think God knew when He told them not to eat that fruit that they were going to, because that seems to be our human.
Children.
I get tickled at the Galactic Federation
and
some of the entities that do a channel. They're like, y'all will be doing good. You get all this love and light going and brotherly love, and
great parents.
You know, you start seeing the picture, and then you just have this meltdown.
They were Southern Baptist.
Total meltdown.
But
it's like humanity goes backwards.
Me to go to the Catholic Church with.
We stay in that duality. We stay. And then, you know, you got Satan and the demons there to scare the bejesus out of you. You know, you better walk that straight and narrow.
I got saved as a child, but I never could live up to it. I never could live up to that God.
I found that it's really not like that. You've got to overcome that fear. The demons can only get you if you fear them. Things only have the power you give them. And I'm learning this.
I've always believed to know your enemy, you know.
So I just wanted to kind of lay this basis out for fear, how we've been indoctrinated to be fearful, and we don't even really know it.
Ever since September 20th.
And until I started really looking at what is my fears, and what am I creating by my choices, and my fears playing heavily into those choices.
I got clean.
And it's like,
and I had love for everything. I had a whole.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much there was of it.
But I was still stressed.
So
I was stressed, you know.
I'd like to encourage you to look at the fear in your life.
So
I know that I said I was going to do the Ascended Masters, but I wanted to just talk about this first.
Had always thought that I could see.
Now, healthy fears. You got healthy fears from God. You know, like.
Believe that up until about a year ago.
There's, you know, like that moral.
My whole life. I mean, from the time I could walk.
not a fear, but a respect.
Secret most of the time, because
bad
back in the
things
60s,
and
the 70s,
vibrate
you
in a
didn't
low
talk like that,
vibration, and
believe in
that's where you're going to
aliens,
end
all that
up.
kind of stuff. I've always
And whether
believed in
there's a
that.
hell or
I've
not,
always knew there was chunks
it's
of the Bible
not
missing
going to
that
be
preachers,
as
priests,
good as if
you
you
know, I sought out
are
all
with God.
different religions because
And
nothing made sense, you know.
you know, I spent a lot of time in darkness.
But Revelations was something I studied a good bit, you know.
And they took care of me. They protected me.
So when
the
I got
energies,
on YouTube,
you
you
know,
know,
in the
and I'm
universe,
doing like tarot card readings,
frequency
and
I was vibrating
rod
in,
readings, and
it
pendulum
fed
readings,
me.
and personal
It
readings.
did all the things that I needed it to do,
you know,
but
and spending more time
so
on the spirit box, it became like an addiction.
Because the darkness loves you. It loves
but I'd
you.
go
It
in there
doesn't
and I'd
want
say,
to
I
lose
just
you.
want to come in and tell you I
Because it
loved you
feeds off
today.
of
They
you.
spread a little love and light, and blah, blah, blah. And they started telling me I was dark and empty and black.
And I can't sit here and tell you
And that
how
made me
to
really
be
look at it. I was
all
already
light,
watching
because I
Paul
don't know,
Wallace
and that's
and the
what this
Fifth Kind,
journey's
and
about.
Eric Von Daniken,
But I do
and
know
that whole
that
crew on the Bible. And
I
I
started by
come
getting
across the
real with
Sumerian
myself,
tablets.
and getting real
And
with Jesus, and getting real
you
with the
know,
God
my
of the
spirit
Old
guide had
Testament,
always
getting real
been
with the
Seth,
Father
and
Source
then
God.
another
Jesus
entity named Eris.
Jesus
And I
didn't
had,
think that the God in the Old
they
Testament
started
was
coming
his
across
father.
the spirit box.
He never said that. He only picked
And
two
that
out
led
of all
into
the
a whole
commandments to
Egyptian
reiterate.
thing.
Jesus was about
And just
love,
all kind of
agape
stuff.
love. And
Anyway, it ended up being a dark
there's a
night in
video
my
coming
soul.
soon on
And
that,
it
and what
led me down this
unconditional love
journey.
actually really means,
Well,
what I've learned about that. I always
so
thought it was
everybody
like
says,
how you love your children,
you
you
need
know,
to meditate.
no matter
You
how
should
many
meditate.
times they
And
go to
I
jail,
had
no matter
meditated
how many times they
years
mess
before,
up,
you know,
whatever
on and
they
off
do, you
throughout.
still love them.
But when
They're
you're doing
still
drugs,
your
you're
children,
just
and you
pretty
love
much
them
doing
no
drugs.
matter
You're
what.
not meditating.
I thought that
But
was
since I'd been
unconditional
clean,
love.
I had all this
And
time
it
to
is,
meditate.
to a certain
So I'm
extent.
meditating and I'm watching Paul
But there's
Wallace
more to it. There's way more to it.
of the Fifth Kind.
So we will talk about that next time. I just wanted to do this little short thing on fear. And I'd like you know, don't ever take my word for it. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. Do your own research. Go within your own self.
I started putting everything together. Long story short, I found out I'm not seeing ghosts and talking to people.
Fear is used in every aspect of life.
All these years that, you know, I tried to avoid them all these years.
That's going to be the biggest challenge.
Couldn't deal with the ghost of the drugs, too.
To having a completely open heart.
Anyway, totally clean now.
Being filled with agape love and the Holy Spirit and love
all these years.
of Father,
it was
Mother God, Source, whatever you want to call it.
Deliverance ministers, which I was listening to, Isaiah Salvador, Supernatural Life of Daniel.
So we're going to do the Ascended Masters next. That's where we're going to focus on
Alexander Pagani,
Ascended Master Jesus,
Pastor Vlad.
The new narrative.
I support
See
all
you there.
Have
a wonderful day.
I believe it's needed.